Hey there, travel friends. As you pack for your next big trip, are you and your stomach both ready to travel? One uninvited guest that loves to come along is that acid reflux. It doesn't care whether you're traveling for work or whether you're going to that family vacation, it loves to come along. Well, today we're here to talk about how to kick that to the curb and keep it from taking over your trip. And so, two of my top favorite ways to keep acid reflux at bay while you are traveling are through alginate therapy and antacids. So, alginate therapy, if you're not familiar with it, alginate is a fabulous supplement that comes from a brown seaweed and is then refined and turned into a supplement that can be used to treat acid reflux. And basically, what it does is it creates a raft or a lid that floats on top of your stomach's acid and other contents so that it can't come up and cause that heartburn, that reflux or regurgitation that makes everybody uncomfortable. And so, my top three traveling acid reflux remedies are all alginate based. And then we'll get into some antacids a little bit later in the video. They're not always my favorite ways because I think there's definitely better ways to treat acid reflux on the go. But if you're in a pinch and all you can find is a convenience store, these will do. So let's jump right into my top pick, which is Reflux Gourmet's single serve multi packs. And I think that when Reflux Gourmet started these, I was like, oh, these guys know travelers. They know people on the go because they're the only company that I have seen that does a true like travel size or something that's really made to take with you. And so I was familiar with these before I had seen the travel size. I had tried like their full size tubes, which are fabulous. And these are the same thing. They're just in a single serve pack. And so it's about a teaspoon. It's the size of a condiment packet, roughly. And they come in this big travel size bag that holds 25. So you get some of each flavor. Their vanilla caramel and their mint chocolate, both of which are great. And so you can just rip that little tab off, and they're really easy to take with you on the go. They're great if you're putting them in a purse, a bag. You can even stick them in a pocket, and they take up very little space. One of the best things about them is they're also small enough that they are TSA compliant if you are flying, which, unlike a lot of other supplements that are gels or liquids that you can't fly with, if they're over that certain volume, all of these fall under that. So you can safely fly with them, and they're all natural, which is another great thing. So you know that they're not going to have any interactions with other medications or anything else you've got going on while you are traveling. And so they are great, no side effects either. So you're not going to get drowsy or get dizzy, nauseous. Nobody wants that on a trip either. So I also love that they are really discreet. You know, if you look at the label like this, you're not seeing anything that screams, oh, they have acid reflux or their stomach is upset. They honestly kind of remind me of energy gels that like runners or endurance athletes use. So definitely, these are my top pick. They work really well. They work fast, usually within a few minutes, up to maybe 30 minutes if it takes a little bit. And you are going to be covered for several hours of relief. So if you are just starting your day out or maybe lunchtime, acid reflux hits, you know you're going to be good all the way till dinner on these. So they are my number one pick, followed by this one by Neutrist, which is Reflexer. And it also has alginate in it. So they're going to be really similar, except that this one, oh, if we scroll down, is in, it's not going to show us a picture, it's in a capsule form rather than being a liquid or a gel. So these are also really nice to travel with because they're easy to pop in a little baggie and take with you, put one in a pocket or a purse. I do worry sometimes about taking them in like my pocket in case it pops open or gets crushed or something, and nobody wants that dust all over your pants on top of not feeling well. So that's why I do like the Reflux Gourmet a little bit better, because I feel like their packaging is going to hold up a little better in all of the craziness of travel. But the capsules are really good. They do take a little bit longer to work just because that capsule does have to dissolve before the alginate can get into your stomach to do its job. But that being said, this is also it's a really great option as well, especially if you don't love flavored things. So the one thing about this though is that depending on where you're traveling to, or maybe where layovers are, is you may have to take this entire bottle with you, depending on, again, where you're traveling, how you're traveling. TSA does not regulate medicines being labeled or in their original bottles, but some states and countries do regulate that. And so if you have a supplement or a medication that isn't labeled, they might confiscate that. So just be aware of that, that you may, in some places, have to take that whole bottle with you, which I feel like makes them a little bit less travel friendly just because you have to take a giant bottle. Which brings us to my next option, which is also from Reflux Gourmet, because, like I said, they know travelers, they know people on the go. And so this is an alginate gum, which I feel like is, if you're looking to go completely incognito with your acid reflux, this is the way to go. Or if you're like sitting in the middle of a meeting and it would be kind of awkward to, down a gel or pop a pill or a capsule, then this is much more socially acceptable to chew a piece of gum usually. And so it has a lesser amount of alginate in it than a Reflux Gourmet or Reflexer, any of those other brands. You are going to have a little bit less. So it's better for more mild reflux, I would say, than a moderate to severe case. But it is great, again, on the go. Something that I will definitely say about this is, if you are expecting it to be like regular chewing gum, it is not. And if you expect that, then it's totally fine. If you're going in thinking like, oh, this is going to be like my Orbit, it isn't, and you're going to be disappointed, because this is functional gum rather than like candy like gum. So they come in these little blister packs, which you can see right here, which is not my favorite. I like the individuals where you could just put one in your pocket. So I just cut up the package so that I can take them one at a time. But they come in these little circles, and when you first put it in your mouth, it almost like falls apart, or it crumbles just a little bit, and then once you chew it a little, it all gums back together. I think that's part of just like the all natural products that it uses. It's not using any additives or fillers to like hold it together initially. So if you are okay with all of that, this is honestly a great option for just some mild relief too. And then we move from the alginates. Those are going to be honestly like the top ways you're going to get acid reflux relief. They're convenient. They're going to last a whole lot longer than an antacid will, and they give you just better overall results, and I think more consistent results. But maybe you're not somewhere where you can get this, or maybe you've run out, or you need just a little bit of extra help, which is where the antacids come in. And we all know, the generic brands like Tums, but one of my favorites recently is this Genexa, and it is a cleaner version of your traditional antacid. They're dye and allergen free, so I like to have them for any fellow travelers or friends that I'm going with who have allergies, because these are usually a much safer bet, and they are just a great all-around antacid to keep. I do keep a few on hand when I travel, um, just just in case. And then coming over here, this is from a brand called Rennie, and I put these last two in here because the four that you just saw are all US based, and so they're easy to get if you're in the States. But if you are traveling internationally, you're not always going to see the same brands. And so Rennie is a really popular heartburn relief brand that comes out of the UK. They've been around since the 30s, so they've got a really good sense of longevity in the community. And they do a peppermint antacid, which is really great if you are over there and you just need some quick relief. It's also kind of a nice break from the fruit or sweet flavors that you find in other antacids. The peppermint is kind of a nice change up. And then last of all, we have the Gaviscon, which is another UK-based brand. It is really popular UK, Europe, and in a lot of parts of Asia as well. So you can look for this bottle or this label, and you'll be able to pick that out if you're traveling abroad somewhere. And they have a really wide variety of products. They do offer some Alginate products if you are in the UK that are similar to the Reflux Gourmet, but they aren't sold here in the States. But they do have other options stateside and internationally. This one is their Cool Mint, and they have a cherry that are both liquid antacids, which are great if you are traveling on land. If you are planning to take a plane, these will not fly with you because their bottles are usually bigger than TSA will allow. So, again, a good choice. Kind of, I see them as a little bit of a backup, all of these antacids, but also just good to familiarize yourself with the brands that you might see. And that's honestly my biggest travel tip